There's been several variations of Wonka over the years. And let's be honest, none of them made us feel like this one made us feel, and it made us feel nice and warm in our hearts. However, how much of what was in this Wonka movie in particular was out of the book or out of thin air? Let's find out. Before we get on to what's out of the book and what isn't, we need to talk about why we love this film. The main question I asked myself when I watched this film was, why do we love this film? And it got me thinking, I think it's because it's family oriented. I think it's because it's also a musical, which isn't my cup of tea, but I think a lot of people really love that element that it was a musical. And I think a lot of people loved how the Chocolate Factory came together on the big screen. They didn't have to imagine it no more. They could watch a film with this idea that everything's edible in this room, and you get this wonderful nature of who Mr. Wonka is, his factory, the life that he lives, and how quirky that character is, and how Gene Wilder just nails that performance as well. I think those are the reasons why that we love this kind of film. And I think it reminds us a lot of childhood. A lot of people grew up on this version. I personally didn't. I grew up on the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory from 2005. And that is also my favourite version, but this one has something different. It has like a weird aura. A lot of people from back in the day remember this film a lot better. Nostalgia kicks in a little bit. I think the candy shop sort of stuff with it feeling like an almost magical experience, which you don't get in many family movies now because they just can't get that, what they had back in the 70s, that feeling that you had to go to the shop to get your sort of candy bars and chocolate bars and sweets, crisps, whatever from those shops, whereas now you could just order it in. But no, on Gene Wilder, I think he was absolutely fantastic, and this is easily one of his best films. There's three, in my opinion, that stand out, which is See No Evil, Hear No Evil, Blazing Saddles, and then Willy Wonka's Chocolate Factory, in which I think this one's his best performance because he just brings this quirky, sort of awkward character which you sort of need in this stance. But how much of what is in the book is actually in this film? Well, I'm going to go to the ending of this film. I might be cutting out a lot of stuff, but everything, like the story-wise, the main arc of it is definitely from the book. Like the main characters, when they get taken out, like when Gustus Club gets stuck in the tube. That's exactly out of the book. You got when Violet Beauregarde gets rolled away because she turns into a giant berry. That sort of stuff, and so on and so forth. The way that those characters exit are pretty similar. There might be a few little exceptions, but they're pretty similar. The thing is, that's different is things like the ending, which seemingly was a bit different. The fizzy drinks that were stolen in the book seemed to be a sort of like a small part. It was like, it didn't mean anything almost. Yeah, Wonka told them off for it, but it weren't a consequence at the end of the book. Whereas in the film, it seems to be a larger consequence where the untrustworthiness of stealing his drinks, he stole the product, the untrustworthiness sort of grew and grew. And also on that point, that he then was literally showing them the door. He wanted them to leave, Grandpa Joe and Charlie to get out. Literally, which isn't something which is family orientated or seemingly like that, having a go at them. But then you get into the reasons why, because he was testing them and Charlie plonks it on the table, and it's just one of those, then the trust comes back and they allows him to have the Chocolate Factory and the prize and everything like that, whereas the book just gave him straight away because he was the last remaining. The other things that are kind of different is, like in this film, we had the golden eggs, which were not a thing in the book. That was the squirrels, kind of what we see in the 2005 Charlie and the Chocolate Factory film, which kind of went more into the book in that sense. But this one has that weird sort of like, oh, this is kind of creative and kind of new, so you kind of trust it, and it kind of makes sense. You also have the Oompa Loompas, which are kind of different, which is, in the book, they're white with brown hair, and here they're orange with green hair. It's completely different, but it's its own change, and that iconicness of the Oompa Loompa now is the orange with green hair. So in a way, they made it better. And there's other things that just made it better. So in all fairness, those changes were made to make it more cinematic and to bring that picture of those books, the imagination side, to life. So there you have it, folks. What did you think of Willy Wonka's Chocolate Factory? Is this your favourite version of Wonka, or do you prefer one of the other two variations that we have talked about? Let us know all that jazz down in those comments down below. And to me, this is an 8.1 out of 10 and a classic film. But do let us know your thoughts down in those comments down below. And if you haven't yet seen our last movie review, then go and check that out right now.